If you're listening right now, again, all bars and restaurants will close at 9 o'clock tonight for the foreseeable future.
And as you can see here, celebrations and protests happening across the country tonight following the big announcement. Some of those protests happening right here in Ohio. People who are licensed to work on these homes have to follow certain guidelines when doing them, and that helps against wind damage like this. Just think about this. In about 50 hours from now, polls in most parts of the country will be closed. The big question on everyone's mind is, why did something like this happen here? Chief Bill said in the press conference that they haven't even started to think about a motive. Dayton 24/7 now, Chelsea Sick just arrived to the scene. Chelsea, I see a lot of action behind you. What are you seeing? What are you learning right now? Two local community leaders are teaming up to give back to the Miami Valley for Thanksgiving. Adam, there are about 200 options here. This is one of my favorites, this electric blue BMW. And my photographer tells me it costs about $82,000. So if you're like us, you'll probably just be looking for fun.
Deon shared his return a year later exclusively with Dayton 24/7 Now's Courtney Wheaton.
This is Deon Green's first time back in the Oregon District. This is what's left. I'm sure you've seen this on TV a lot, but
Yeah, I've never seen it in person. The heroic acts from all of them that night, you know.
He's seeing the memorial left in front of Ned Peppers for the very first time.
Yeah, that's nice. I didn't know it was this big in person.
Do you think you'll ever enjoy this place again?
Only time can tell. You know, this is the first step right here.
Deon also taking us back to the alley where the shooter took his father, Derek Fudge's life.
I was standing here, my dad was standing right here, and Danita was standing right there. And he came through, and that's how he got on the other side of the street. Because the taco stand was right here.
Since then, Deon has dedicated his life to giving back to others. He's recently created a nonprofit in his father's memory called the Fudge Foundation.
Right. Yep, Coalition Under Distress Giving Encouragement is an acronym for my father. It's geared towards helping survivors and victims, as like in myself, overcome depression, mental illness, maybe suicide, with resources, with connecting them with other resources around the area, and providing help, because I've been through that situation where I know without proper guidance or resources, you can fall in a deep hole. And
Deon says peer support is everything. When we were recording, he met up with Elena Young, a blind Bob server who was shot just feet away from his father. This fence, an awful reminder.
I'm surprised that I haven't blocked that off yet.
It was near where the shooter took his dad's life.
I just hate that fence by your job. That's
Me too, and I
nightmare right there.
I usually park by the dumpster.
Both of them now focused on the future, but never forgetting the past.
When something so tragic happened, you still can shine light in a dark tunnel.
Deon says from writing a book to getting his master's and speaking out about gun violence, everything he does is in honor of his father and the other victims.
I'm just trying to do my best. I'm trying to keep each and every victim's name live, you know, because he represents the Oregon District. You know, this is where it happened, so that means when he spoke about, all the other ones are spoke about within the range. So it's not just for him, it's for all of them.
Dayton 24/7 Now's Courtney Wheaton sat down one-on-one with the Dayton Violent Crime Bureau to find out how it's addressing this issue.
2020 already turning out to be a deadly year in Dayton. A man shot to death on Highland Avenue Tuesday. On Monday, a 26-year-old shot and killed on Northcrest Drive. Last week, 15-year-old Quilique Shelton laid to rest after being the unintentional target of a gun. Let's talk about violent crime. I mean, from these numbers, they are going up substantially. We sat down with Lieutenant Jason Hall, the commander of DPD's Violent Crime Bureau. We took a look back at violent crimes over the last 2 years.
A lot of it, based upon the investigations, are outside of obviously the Oregon District shooting, is arguments. We're seeing a fair amount of arguments that are escalating into gunplay.
From 2018 to 2019, murders involving guns were up 38% from 34 to 47, including the 9 victims of the Oregon District mass shooting.
We are noticing instances where it's not a single person killed on a homicide. It was multiples.
Cases like Kyla Hayton's and Todd Burkhart's, the missing Mansfield couple killed in Dayton back in November of 2019. Kyla was 5 months pregnant when she died. One incident resulting in 3 deaths. The 31-year-old suspect just indicted in connection to their case.
Anecdotally, it would appear that there is some desensitization to gun violence.
Here's a look at all violent crimes from 2018 to 2019 with and without firearms. Murders are up 43%, assault is up 12%, rape by 6%, while robbery is down by 25%. I asked how the department is working to lower these statistics.
Part of what we'll do is try to identify people who are involved in violent crimes. We call it a top violent individuals list. We compile that list. It also includes people who have been victims.
But police say there's more to it.
We don't want to see families grieving and dealing with the loss of a loved one. The 15-year-old you mentioned impacted an entire school. You know, all those lives touched by that incident. We want to do our absolute best to prevent if we can and accurately investigate if we can't.
Police say as of yesterday, there have been 5 homicides in Dayton, which is the same number for this time last year. The data doesn't include the deadly shootings from today or last night.
Tonight, we're hearing exclusively from the family of Ebony Radford. She was an innocent victim in a deadly police chase last summer. ABC 22's Courtney Wheaton shares her family's fight for change.
It's a sigh that only a grieving mother could truly understand. Tanya Radford wearing her daughter's memory on her chest. On July 14, 2018, Ebony Radford was in the car with a drunk driver who sped through a residential neighborhood, leading police on a chase, before crashing into a pole, killing her instantly.
She has a 15-year-old son that on Mother's Day told me, said, I can't believe I'm 15-year-old without a mother.
Her family now making sure her passing wasn't in vain, taking any chance to remember the good times.
Everybody just gonna say Nana, Ebony, Princess,
queen,
can dance her butt off, but Nana is crazy.
And also taking signatures for Nana's Law, named in Ebony's honor.
We're petitioning for a law to have stiffer penalties for those who choose to flee, injure, and/or kill someone.
The proposal would ask law enforcement to stop chases in residential neighborhoods.
Because with the residential areas, you got kids. You got kids out, you know, that like where this happened to Nana, it's a one lane, one way, one lane.
They are happy that lawmakers are having these conversations.
But he also wants to see more punishment for suspects that flee.
Got like a 5-year.
But it will never bring back who they call a missing piece in their puzzle.
It makes you feel like you can't breathe sometimes, you know, like you can't catch your breath.
But moving forward, a grieving mother has just one request.
Please pull over, because you're not just risking your life. You didn't just take my daughter's life. You took a lot of lives that's still living.